The latest SCOTUS news. Joe Biden refuses to say if he would pack the Supreme Court, and also a bonus Joe Biden gaffe. Because we love you here at the News and Why It Matters. We've got a lot coming up, and it starts right now. Welcome to the News and Why It Matters. I'm Sarah Gonzalez. I'm still here. Yeah. Because I'm never having a baby. It's just never coming out. I'm going to be pregnant forever. That's my news of the day. Today I'm joined by Chad Prather, host of the Chad Prather Show.
I just like it when you call me America's favorite cowboy. What are you going to do if you go into labor like right now?
Well, I mean, that's ratings.
Cameras are going in the car, and it's reality TV. Baby.
Exactly. We're going to sell
finishing the show.
We're selling that. We'll tell you the news and why it matters.
That's ratings gold, Jerry.
Yeah, exactly.
Ratings gold.
There goes the blaze.
Also joined, of course, obviously, by the one and only Jaco Booyens, host of the Jaco Booyens Show. Thanks for being here as well.
With Mr. Prather again.
You as well.
Yes.
You as well.
And so okay. We've obviously got a lot of SCOTUS news to get through today. A lot of different aspects, different angles floating around. Obviously, we covered the news of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's passing yesterday. Talked about how the left is just, the reaction is a little unhinged, threatening to burn everything down when they already are literally burning everything down. Kind of an empty threat there, guys. But President Trump officially announced when he plans to name his nominee to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg. He said on Twitter today, I will be announcing my Supreme Court nominee Saturday at the White House, exact time TBA. Now, of course, they are supposed to have some services for Ruth Bader Ginsburg on, I believe it's Friday. So he wanted to wait until all of that happened. He was able to pay respects to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, which I think is a good call by Trump. What do you think?
Well, it's human life. It's human dignity. So obviously you want to pay respects. It's a sacred moment to be able to do that. You know, her lying in state. And then, of course, being buried at Arlington National Cemetery. I mean, it's a great honor for that. She was an extraordinary woman in her own way. It doesn't mean I agreed with her, but I mean, she was an extraordinary woman, a woman of accomplishment, and meant a lot to a lot of Americans. And the president represents all those Americans, whether they accept him or not. So I'm glad he did what he did.
Yeah,
that's right. Doing the honorable thing, the right thing. Life is sacred, like you said. And we don't want to see lives lost. We just want to see sanity return to our country, right? So I think it's well done. It's just very interesting, though, the timing of all of this, which obviously is ordained by God, because only God decides life and when it comes and goes. But he's going to announce the next nominee on the Day of Atonement. In the Jewish calendar. We just had Rosh Hashanah. New Year just started in the Jewish calendar. It's just interesting. New beginnings, literally on the day, right before. It is very, very interesting. I pay attention to those things in our culture and try and see what's going on. But Saturday's a big day. And I say push forward, Mr. President.
Yeah. So it's obviously anticipated that the nominee will be either Amy Coney Barrett, who is currently on the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals, or Barbara Lagoa, who is a judge on the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. Barrett seems to be the favorite, just if you believe all of the D.C. rumors, inside information. And she did actually, she went to a meeting at the White House. She was in D.C. Just yesterday, I think. So who knows? But Lagoa, I think, would be interesting because she's a woman of color. And we know the left is going to go all in on whoever it is. They're going to demonize them. You know, I'll be interested to hear how they talk about her past as a gang rapist, like they did Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, right.
How they do that.
Listen, whatever they can't find, they will manipulate and make up. We've seen that already, right? Both are great considerations. Both are great nominees. Lagoa, of course, being from a family of Cuban exiles, which is something that is unprecedented in that. And Coney Barrett, of course, I love her stance on the Second Amendment. I love her stance on her faith. First of all, she's very outspoken about that, but she's already explained to Dianne Feinstein when she was getting confirmed to the 7th Court about how we all have ideologies. We just don't let those dictate our judgments. And so she's a sharp lady. She pushes back, and they're both very strong women.
So what are your, and I want to get both of your thoughts here, what are your thoughts on the way that the left is pushing back on her religion? Because that seems to be a source of contention with them. It's almost as if they have never met a religious person in their life who has actually lived out their morals, their convictions, because they seem to think that as a religious person, as a woman of faith, Amy Coney Barrett is not able to separate her job from her religion. What are your thoughts?
Everyone is religious. Everyone. I don't care if you're a humanist. You're still religious. There are people who have ideologies, they have their doxologies, they have their indoctrinations, and they all guide your life. You make your decisions based on those convictions. Everyone does it. Some people, their God is politics. And so that's, that is what we're looking at here. To say that is a form of hypocrisy. And I love what she said to Dianne Feinstein whenever she pushed her on that. She said, we all have that, but we're not going to allow those to affect our judgment. So I'm impressed by her. They're going to find everything. If the thing, look, they took the nerdiest guy on the planet, Brett Kavanaugh, and turned him into a gang rapist. If your biggest argument is I pray too much.
Right.
Like, this is a woman with, what, 7, 8 kids? Yeah. 2 of them are 2 of them are Haitian, adoptees. I think 1 is special needs. I could be misspeaking on that, but I just hearing it through the grapevine. But anyway, this is an exceptional woman.
The interesting thing that they're missing here is Lagoa actually has stronger and wider evangelical support than Coney Barrett does. Lagoa has massive evangelical...
Well, don't tell them that, because they'll jump right on it.
She has very, very strong evangelical support. Her faith is as deep as Coney. She just hadn't had the exposure. Yeah. Because remember, Coney Barrett was a final kind of a front runner with Kavanaugh. Yes. That's why she met with the president the first time. Obviously, this is her second time she met yesterday. But Lagoa is a real horse in the race. And I'll say either one, the evangelical crowd, the believers, the God-fearing Americans are going to support either one of them the same. Yeah. Sure. I mean, you've got 2 really strong folks, and it is hypocritical because everything we see them do, they are a product of their environment, the left. So their religion, which is money or power, you're right, or domineering an American society, shows up in all their decision making. They will trample their own people for the love that they behold, whether it's power or office or money. So they are a product of their own doing and environment. So to say that, oh, she's a woman of faith and all of a sudden that's going to be reflected, it will definitely have an influence. Right? And maybe, just maybe, I love seeing them play defense. Yeah. Because all of a sudden, their focus is off of their next move, which whatever that was, what city they wanted to burn down. And all of a sudden, they're knocking, going, oh, crap, are we going to see Roe v. Wade overturned? Right. Are we going to lose the hold? Oh, we're just going to stack the court. But, I love seeing them play defense. I just love it. And they're scattering like roaches, like rats in New York. They're just, they're going.
They say that Roe versus Wade thing every time, though. I mean, they said it with Brett Kavanaugh, who really was the most milquetoast conservative.
Exactly. But they're afraid of it, though.
Right. Obviously.
They're so afraid of it.
They are. Or at least they know that it riles up their base.
When you touch Roe v. Wade, you touch Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
You touch money.
Right. At the end of the day, it's all about money. Right. This is a major billion-dollar industry, 97% of which is done in the name of convenience. Look, RBG, her legacy is this abortion issue, right? She fought for women's rights. She equated a woman's right to choose with a woman's sex and with her equality with men. So to take that away, she is basically her precedent that she tried to establish was women are no greater than their ability to choose, which made the most dangerous place for a baby to be in America is in a woman's womb, okay? So that's her legacy, and the blood's on her hands in that regard. God rest her soul. Now, it still comes down to the states when you talk about Roe v. Wade. It's up to the states. Do I think that anybody's going to come in there, like you said, Brett Kavanaugh? Brett Kavanaugh came in, he's still sort of milquetoast in the way that he is. in his judgments.
He has sided with the Democrats.
He has.
Planned Parenthood
He has. As well. And Roe v. Wade is not going to get overturned. I mean, look, I would love to see that. We are sacrificing babies on the idol of Moloch. I mean, we just really are. And this is a horrible thing. I wish that it didn't exist. But we'll see what happens in the future. But ultimately, it comes down to the states. This isn't a federal decision. And this big, scary, chaotic talking point is what they keep pushing because it scares people. Yes, and don't forget, chaos is big business.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Yep.
So there has been talk, of course, of which Republican senators would potentially vote for whoever the nominee is going to be, which wouldn't. We know that Murkowski and Collins have already said that they would not be joining the Republicans because, reasons. I don't know. I don't understand how they're still in office anyway. I hope that they see some bites back for that at the ballot box whenever they are up for re-election. But Cory Gardner and Chuck Grassley, who both people thought they may be on the fence, judging by comments that they had made previously, they said that they would vote to hold that confirmation hearing, and Lindsey Graham as well, who I know the left is very big on pushing, well, back in 2018, he said, you can hold me to my words, and that we're going to hold him to his words. Well, things have changed since then, folks. But Mitt Romney was another one who, nobody knows what Mitt Romney's going to do these days. I don't even know how he is still registered as a Republican at this point. But here was Mitt Romney today coming out and saying that he would support the hearing, the process, and that he would vote to confirm a qualified nominee from Trump. Here's Mitt Romney.
Would you support a lame duck vote if Democrats win the majority?
I'm not going to look at all the hypotheticals that might occur, but I've laid out what I intend to do, and that would be dependent upon, not dependent upon the timing. I don't know whether the decision will be made before or after the election, meaning the final vote will be before or after the election.
Would you be all right if the final vote was before the election? Would you have a problem with that?
Well, my statement applies to the current circumstance, which means the timing will be decided by the Judiciary Committee and the majority leader as to when it gets to the floor.
But if Biden wins, you'd be okay with a vote in a lame duck session if Biden wins?
I'm not going to get into the particulars of who wins and who doesn't.
That's a very possible.
There are many possibilities that we could go through. I've indicated that what I intend to do is to proceed with the consideration process, and if a nominee actually reaches the floor, that I will vote based upon the qualifications of that nominee.
The statement that he was referring to in that video clip, he said the historical precedent of election year nominations is that the Senate generally does not confirm an opposing party's nominee, but does confirm a nominee of its own. I intend to follow the Constitution and precedent in considering the president's nominee. If the nominee reaches the Senate floor, I intend to vote based upon their qualifications. Now, with Mitt Romney, I'm never one to be like, oh, good, he's become sane again. Now we can all just breathe a sigh of relief. You never know. I still feel like he's a wild card because he did say, it's got to be a qualified nominee. So we don't know if he's going to come out and say, well, I just don't think this person is qualified.
I don't trust anything the man says. Anybody that takes that many words to say yes, that's swamp speak right there. Yeah. Everything that he said, I try to pay attention. I've watched that 3 times now, and I'm still trying to figure out why I want you to answer the question. That's swamp speak. So I don't trust him. He could come out in another 30 days, however long this process takes, the next few weeks, and say, nah, I don't think so.
Right.
I don't trust him.
Yeah, I don't either.
No, look, you got to go by the record, right? And we know the last time he had an opportunity to really make a stand, he ran for the hills. As a matter of fact, he changed party without changing party.
Right.
So is it a soft victory here? Does it put him on first base, kind of saying, if he didn't just run like last time? Okay, I'll give him that. But now hold the fort, and who decides what's qualified and what's not qualified? Because everybody on that list is qualified.
Yeah.
They're qualified.
Right.
They're current federal judges. They're qualified. Okay, now what you want to spin is a whole different story. But we'll see how he dances when it gets hot.
Yeah. Well, more on the Senate vote to confirm after the break. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Mobile. So for those of you who you may be still using a big cell phone company, you don't realize this oftentimes, but they're actually taking a portion of what you are paying in your bill every month. You're hardworking American, okay? You're paying your money for your bill. They're taking a portion of that money and they're actually donating it to a bunch of left-leaning causes that you're probably fighting against if you're watching this show. For instance, Verizon donated $10 million to a myriad of social justice organizations, including Al Sharpton's National Action Network. Yeah, you don't want your hard-earned money to go to all of those values that you are working in your free time fighting against. Patriot Mobile shares your values, and unlike Big Mobile, they will not send your hard-earned money to places like Planned Parenthood. Instead, you can get the same reliable nationwide service and support a company that actually loves America and is not trying to tear it down. They share your values and they support our police. You got to use Patriot Mobile. It's 2020. All right, folks, it's really easy to switch. You can keep your phone number, you can bring your own phone, or you can buy a new one, get a new phone number if you're like trying to hide from people and want to create a new existence. Whatever you want to do, Patriot Mobile has you covered. You can go to patriotmobile.com/news. You can get free activation plus a special gift if you use offer code NEWS. You can also call their customer service team if you still use phones for their intended original purpose, which is like actually talking on the phone. I don't think many people do that, but if you want to, it's 972-PATRIOT. Otherwise, go to patriotmobile.com. Make the switch today. patriotmobile.com/news. That is patriotmobile.com/news. Back in a minute. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham, we referenced him earlier, he is being hit hard by Democrats for changing his opinion, even though we've got a bunch of Democrats on record saying the exact opposite of what they said in 2016 when they were trying to force through Merrick Garland. But Lindsey Graham said just last night that Republicans apparently do already. They know that they have enough votes to confirm whoever the replacement is to the Supreme Court. Here's a little bit of what Lindsey Graham had to say.
It's pretty obvious they want an outcome. They'll destroy anybody's life to keep these seats open. They said they tried to destroy Brett Kavanaugh so they could fill the seat. They were dumb enough to say that. I've seen this movie before. It's not going to work. It didn't work with Kavanaugh. We've got the votes to confirm Justice Ginsburg replacement before the election. We're going to move forward in the committee. We're going to report the nomination out of the committee to the floor of the United States Senate so we can vote before the election. That's the constitutional process. After Kavanaugh, everything changed with me. They're not going to intimidate me, Mitch McConnell, or anybody else.
Now, we don't have video of this, but I did see video surface online of a bunch of people outside Lindsey Graham's home, protesting, holding up signs, yelling at his home. I'm like, do you really think that that's going to somehow change the guy's mind?
Right. Well, it was Mitch McConnell's home.
Was it?
It was Mitch McConnell's home, and there was a whole lot of expletives and a whole lot of. Fortunately, Mitch wasn't home.
There.
So
it's a whole lot of wasted time.
There's a good chance that they would have burned the house down with him in it. I mean, it was a bad situation. The violent mob mentality is what we're seeing. That's where we're going. Lindsey Graham, I mean, I love Lindsey 2.0, right?
We need Lindsey 3.0 now.
Yeah, I'm ready for him to, see the lightning come out of his eyes. I want his skull to split open. And encouraging to hear that. Mm-hmm. It is definitely encouraging to hear that, and we'll see where it goes from here. Yeah. He seems pretty confident. Yeah. I mean, this is why they're there. I'm sorry, but this is why they're there.
Exactly.
Yes.
They're there for this.
I was about to just...
I know.
What are we doing here? I'm so glad you said Lindsey 2.0 and you said confident is the word. I've been waiting. Mm-hmm. Yes, we've had the White House for 4 years, but I've been waiting for someone to walk out of the locker room and say, I'm going to smash somebody.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm here to do my job. Right. I'm here to represent, like this man will, the people that elected me. And that's your job. It's your constitutional right to right now nominate a guy and get, or a woman, and get her in in there right now. I don't care what they say or whose house they march on. This is our right. Now, wait, crybaby. You've been crying for 4 years. Go cry another 19 for all I care. Do your job. And I'm so glad he's actually catching a little bit of fire. We need a lot more of that because Mitt about put me to sleep, okay? Mitt Romney is asleep. He should just go in and lay down for a minute in the pasture and just
do
be
snuggle
there.
time with Joe Biden.
Exactly. Him and Joe go snuggle. No, we need this. We need the 2 point. I actually want the president to go on the offense here a little bit. Yeah. I need vision. I need passion back in this country. Come on. Let's take it back. Stop carrying for the bully that's not really even a bully. It's like the Masked Singer. Who's really behind the mask? You don't know.
Well, it is interesting because we've seen the Democrats be so successful at things like that. And it's like, well, yeah, because they show no mercy. When things like this happen and this comes up, they show no mercy and they sleep like babies at night. So the idea that the Republicans would back down and go, well, we could maybe make a deal that, they won't pack the court if they get in office and we'll wait. It's like,
no, you play to win.
Right.
You play to win.
They would not show you the same respect, which is completely evident by the fact of how they treated Brett Kavanaugh.
Well, it's just
they would never do it.
The same rhetoric of we're going to change the goalposts now, that if you push somebody through, well, then we're going to add more justices. That's the threat. That's like saying, you know what, if I got to go play the New England Patriots and I could probably lose to them, we're going to put 14 people on the field.
Right.
We're changing the rules right here in the middle of the game. And you can go back and you can find any Democrat of note, from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris and everybody in between, even Elizabeth Warren back when she was Indian. You can go back and all of them, 100%, I agree with their words completely, totally. We have a montage on my show tonight. You can watch it. It's on there. It's 2 minutes of them going on and on and on and on about how you got to put somebody in that seat.
Right. Yeah. So as much as they want to say hold Republicans to their words, well, they're on record saying the same thing. We could say the same thing about them. So speaking of all of these Democrats going on record saying, that previously they said we needed to go through, confirm. Now they're saying, oh, no, we can't do that. You know what? If they even try it, we're going to just tear down the entire system. We're going to burn everything down. But it's not just Democrat lawmakers. It's also the mainstream media who call themselves journalists, but we all know the truth. Don Lemon and Chris Fredo Cuomo, they had a lovely little conversation where Don Lemon just basically said, we just need to blow up the entire system over this. Watch.
No matter what happens, everybody sticks with their team.
We're going to have to blow up the entire system. And you know what we're going to have to do?
No, I don't know.
You know what we're going to? Yes, what you're going to have to do?
You just got to vote.
Honestly, from what your closing argument is, you're going to have to get rid of the Electoral College. Because the people...
I don't see it.
Because the minority in this country decides who the judges are and they decide who the president is.
But you need a constitutional amendment to do that.
And if Joe Biden wins, Democrats can stack the courts and they can do that amendment and they can get it passed.
Well, you need two-thirds vote in the Congress and 3/4 of the state legislatures.
They may be able to do that.
Maybe.
Chad, could you maybe give Don Lemon a little bit of schooling on where he's wrong?
He's bought into this whole your truth thing, right? Where I just interpret according to my feelings, forget the black and white that's on the parchment of a little thing called the Constitution, which is probably the second most important document that's ever been written besides the Holy Bible. And let me tell you something, this thing, he's just like, well, we're just going to brush that aside. If you can stump Chris Cuomo and he's fighting back.
That's a new low.
Let me tell you, Don Lemon is...
You've gone off the reservation, Don.
Not smart. But so that, again, I alluded to it last week on this show. We've embraced postmodernism. It's in reality is what I feel about it. Well, we're just going to blow up the whole system. Well, the whole system is something that has been functioning the entire existence of this country as the United States of America. Now you're just going to blow it up because you don't feel right about it?
Yeah.
No, that's not how we do things around here.
Well, right, because he says essentially he just said, well, majority should rule.
I don't feel,
it's not fair. It's not fair. Minorities get to decide. It's not fair.
Okay, so look at everybody in the streets. You know what they want? They want mob rule.
Yep.
All these guys we can overpower. That's why they come up to old people in the cafe. That's why they come up to the people in their cars and they overpower them. That's why they're blocking, because they want mob rule. And then when you get mob rule, what you're seeing in the streets gets exponentially multiplied across the country, and it's not good.
Yeah, okay.
You know, when you listen to him, he speaks so much of what they truly feel, right?
Oh, yeah.
We are a republic. We're not a democracy, right? They want a democracy. They want a democracy where the mob, the majority, no electoral college, the populace, right, which they control through the media, you know, control the minority. But I thought you were about minorities. I thought you want to support minorities. I thought the minority needs to rise in this country. No, you want to indoctrinate your own people, right? We're a republic, right? Yeah. And like a child, you know, if it's bad, then let's just make it really bad. Just blow it up. Just throw the tantrum and just blow it all up. Not thinking where your next paycheck's going to come from. Something hit me yesterday. You know, all these LGBTQ and all these folks that's the Lemonites and the Cuomos in New York. You know, Broadway's gone.
Yeah.
So I want to ask him, hey, Broadway actress, you're glad now that you don't have a job? You're glad that you blew up a whole industry? They blew it up. He wants to blow it up. They blew it up. There's nothing to go back to, right? Is that what they really want? They can't think further than 2 feet in front of them, right?
You're exactly right. We live in a country where a moron like Don Lemon can make $1 million spouting off ignorance. And you know what? If you blow it up, Don, you're not going to have that type of opportunity anymore.
That's a great point.
No job.
That is a great point. That's the best example of America being great that you could probably come up with. Even morons like Don Lemon can be successful.
Morons can be millionaires and have equality as a gay black man.
Right.
To do this job.
Right, exactly. Right? All right, we've got Joe Biden, what he has to say about packing the court. Well, at least what he has to say, like, this week about packing the court when we come back. Stay tuned.
Come on, man.
You know, Cuomo. If Cuomo backs up, you go, hey, man, I don't know.
I know, you're like
you've way.
I don't know about that.
Now, previously, Joe Biden has gone on record as being in favor of doing things like packing the Supreme Court. But it's hard to say if maybe he was just having like a bad dementia day or he's just changed his mind for the week. Whatever the case may be, yesterday, Joe Biden was asked this question, and he really just kind of punted it, really did not want to answer, well, I mean, you know, if I answered that question, we would lose the focus that I want you to have, which is to not ask me this question. Here's a little bit of Joe Biden from yesterday. Watch.
Let me tell you why I'm not going to answer that question. Because it will shift all the focus. That's what he wants. He never wants to talk about the issue at hand. He always tries to change the subject. But let's say I answer that question. Then the whole debate's going to be, well, Biden said or didn't say. Biden said he would or wouldn't. The discussion should be about why he is moving in a direction that's totally inconsistent with what the founders wanted. They're designed, the Constitution says designed, if voters get to pick the president who gets to make the pick and the Senate who gets to decide. We're in the middle of an election right now, Brittany. You know, people are voting now. By the time this Supreme Court hearing would be held, if they hold one, would in fact, we probably have, it's estimated 30 to 40% of the American people already have voted. It is a fundamental breach of constitutional principle.
I don't want to answer that question. I'm not going to answer that question. By the way, he won't even come out and say who his picks would be for the Supreme Court. Last I heard. That was yesterday, though. Maybe things have changed today and I haven't seen it. But how can you trust someone who won't just answer whether or not he would pack the Supreme Court? I don't understand how he thinks the Independent is going to look at that and go, yeah, I definitely trust this guy.
I think that his handlers, God only knows who those people are, because they're morons too. I've decided that Joe doesn't have dementia; he's just an idiot.
There may be some truth to both, though.
There probably is, But I think that the plan is if Joe can spit out enough word salad, they can see the reaction to it and then respond tomorrow. That's why he flip-flops so bad, because he said something, but he really said nothing. Say, well, you know, here's why I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to change the subject because he's going to change the subject. And I'm, you know, forget the fact that I just said I'm changing the subject. And it's just word salad. It's SpaghettiOs. I mean, you pour it out in alphabet soup. The letters float to the top.
And in that situation, what I've learned is just keep pressing. Press harder. Press harder. Press him harder. And I think we're going to see that in the first debate. You got to press him. You got to force him into a corner. Declare, sir, what you really stand for. Declare what your party stands for. Declare what you're going to do. Now, I'm going to ask you again. Are you going to stack the court or not? And he's either going to completely unravel and hinge and glitch and cease and, you know, fall like Hillary or do whatever they're going to flip-flop, or he's actually going to speak the truth and America's going to gasp and go, oh, dear God, may we not ever see that, right? I mean, but you got to press him. What do you do when you find a hole in the defense, Chad? You expose it. You press it hard.
I hope Trump will do that if there's a debate. Of course, I think we're a week away from Joe getting coronavirus and he can't debate. So,
have you noticed he's been coughing a lot when he goes?
A little shortness of breath. I hope that if they do debate, doubtful, but if they do, hopeful, that Trump presses. I hope he pushes him. He keeps saying, no, you didn't answer the question. You didn't answer the question. They would do that to Trump. They wouldn't let Trump get away with that. The press would never let Trump get away with that.
What do you think of his spin on, what did he say? It's a fundamental breach of constitutional principle because the voters vote for a president and the Senate. And it's like, yeah, they did. That's why we have a Senate majority and the White House right now.
Yeah, Joe, that's why we used our right to say he's not being, you know, you impeached him. We're saying he's staying in office, right?
Well, hopefully.
The Senate. No. Look, it's the flavor of the day. Whatever floats their boat, right? Whatever they got to say, how they got to bend the Constitution, bend the law, walk all over it like lemon, they'll do whatever. It doesn't even matter at this point. This point is just get the guy up there. I pray for a debate. I really do. Just expose, keep exposing.
Well, Jaco, you mentioned that now, you mentioned impeachment. And now, of course, they're talking about, well, maybe we just go through another impeachment session again, you know, to try to literally Nancy Pelosi, I think, answered George Stephanopoulos' question and said he asked the question in order to stall. And she was like, yeah, I mean, we might do that. I don't know. We've got some tricks up our sleeve in order to stall. So they're just coming out and saying it. But here is President Trump's response to the Democrats' threat that they might go through impeachment all over again if he nominates someone to fill the seat. Listen.
I heard yesterday, if I do it, they're going to impeach me. So they're impeaching me for doing what constitutionally I have to do. Here's the thing, we have, and I think then we win the election, then we win all elections if they do that.
So it sounds like you're encouraging her.
Last time, my numbers went way up.
Mr. President, are you encouraging her to impeach you so you win?
No, if they do, I think my numbers will go up. I think we'll win the entire election. I think we'll win back the House. I think we're going to win the House. I really do. I think we're going to win the House anyway.
Do you agree?
I'm hopeful. I don't know that I agree. Is that your word of the day? No, I don't know that I agree, but I'm hopeful. I'm prayerful in that regard. What to his point, this so much of this is backfiring on them, and they're so
and they keep doing it.
Unaware of themselves.
That's right.
And they just keep doing it. It's just like you want to take riots out to the suburbs, and you're going to find that there are some folks out there who would have voted Democrat in this election, but they're going to see the true face of the left. And when you take that out there, guess what they're going to do? They're going to say, either I'm not voting or I'm voting for Donald Trump, because this is ludicrous.
Yeah, Jaco.
100%. It's going to backfire. It's going to continue to backfire, because you said it earlier. They played that. You know, when you play games in a casino and you go all in, you don't get to go, can I rethink this?
Right.
When it's all in, it's all in, and they went all in early. Early.
Black. Wait.
Yeah, exactly.
When the red pops up.
You're waiting for cards to be done. They go, all in. We're all in. We hate the man. And you go, you sure? And you can't get it back. And it's always going to backfire, because I have to believe that America is a good place.
Yeah.
I immigrated here. It's the best country on planet Earth. It's the greatest nation
ever.
Right? And there's great people. People make the country great. Not the geographical location on Earth, right? And there's good people, and people are actually starting to see, I can't be part of that. I can't be part of my city being burned down, my child not being safe. Yes, if it's a black mom going, well, who's going to come when we call, defunding the police? It's an avalanche, and it doesn't stop. So I'm with you 100%. It's backfiring, and I'm with the president too. Do it again.
Yeah.
Come on, impeach me again. You want us to win? You want us to take 310 electoral votes? You want us to just run the table, right? Just keep coming.
I'm all in.
Come on.
All right, we've got more to come. Stay tuned.
Can you imagine?
And because we love you here at the News and Why It Matters, and we always want to make you laugh, we've got to get all of the Joe Biden gaffes on the show that we can. Here is Joe Biden yesterday during an event trying to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I guess, I don't know if I would call this a full, wholehearted attempt, but it's all that Joe has at this point anyway. Here is Joe Biden.
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, one nation, indivisible, under God, for real.
For real. For real.
I ain't lying.
For real. Look, man. Come on, man. Come on. For real.
You've heard me say a lot of Americans will fail the exam to become a citizen, okay? Yeah. That guy that's running for president of the United States will not pass that test. He will not pass the test to become a citizen, okay? And he had an attempt a couple of months ago when he said, the thing, okay? He went from the thing to the for real, okay? Yeah. He's progressing, Chad. Yeah. He's actually going to get there one day.
To be, the thing.
The thing.
And again, it's interesting how he misses into the republic.
Yes.
There's no republic.
So you think there's something behind that?
I mean, look. If with notes and a lot of rehearsal, you can't get the pledge of, guys, come on, what are we doing? People are laughing at us.
Well, and the thing is, he's pledging allegiance to the country, and then all of a sudden his brain kicked in. Let's not forget that this is a guy who had 2 brain aneurysms and had brain surgery. And his doctor went on record as saying there were no lasting effects. But you can have micro brain bleeds that you don't even know about, that don't even, they're micro. And I lived through this with my own late father. And you don't even know they're going on. And all of a sudden that rote memory kicks in, but it's not 100%. So he says, I pledge allegiance to this country. And then he starts trying to recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Joe Biden should be held accountable, honestly, for allowing this to continue going on. Yeah. This is a sad state to continue watching this, because there'll be another one today.
Oh, of course.
We'll be talking about it on the show tomorrow.
Well, although I think today they announced a lid for his campaign at like 9:30 in the morning. They keep doing that. They keep announcing, it's like he'll be out for a day. And he'll be doing interviews, and then the very next day, very early in the morning, his campaign will say, all right, folks, well, it's 8:30 in the morning, and he's done for the day. Thanks. We'll see you again another time.
And how many times has he said, not taking any questions? Yeah. And he just walks off.
Yeah. It's incredible. It is sad.
This is the guy with the nuclear codes.
Although, and I mean, it is sad, but then, people will go, they'll bring up, the left will be the ones to bring up what you said, which is his medical history. And they're like, well, how dare you say that about him? I mean, he's had some serious medical issues. And it's like, no crap. That's why we don't think he's fit to be president.
Exactly.
Thank you for proving our point.
It is the plan for him not to be president.
I think there's a plan.
A quarter in.
Yeah. I think there's
March,
a plan
April next year, it's a soft exit. And all of a sudden in comes some shenanigans.
Oh, I promise you.
Shenanigans.
I lay $100 bill on the table, and I'll go all in. I only got $100. Wait.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Come on, cowboy.
Here we go.
I want that hat.
Here it is. Here it is, cowboy. Right here.
Oh, there's $100.
Oh, my gosh.
There's $100.
There will be.
Okay.
I'm going to put this right here. It's going to be on the set of the News and Why It Matters. We'll see how long it'll last.
It?
I don't know. Sarah's got baby things to buy, buddy. There's a lot of baby things to buy.
Is on hard times. So if it disappears, we'll know it went to Beck. But let me tell you something, guys. That right there, I bet you $100. You watch. 6 months. We'll give it 6 months. We'll be liberal with it, okay? Shenanigans. Mark my word.
So before we have to go, I wanted to update you guys. So in the times of COVID, there are a lot of things that have changed, including apparently, this is from the UK, this is an actual website, it's a nonprofit organization, it's called St. John Ambulance, and including how to do CPR on an adult. So I just want to let you guys know, give you the latest. So CPR guidelines have been updated. It says, do not place your face close to the patient's face. You don't want to do that. In fact, if you have a helper, ask your helper to put the phone on speaker and hold it out towards you so that they can maintain proper social distancing. And by the way, when you're performing CPR, do not give rescue breaths. Okay, so don't actually try to like breathe life back into them. Make sure you don't do that. Oh, and also, if we could, yeah, there's the graphic that I'm looking for. If we could also just make sure to place a towel or a piece of clothing over the mouth and nose of the person who is not breathing to make sure that if you do allow them to breathe again, they'll just be suffocated by the towel. Okay. So. And by the way, make sure that you maintain social distance.
Sarah, you know what I studied, right? I never want.
Did I break you?
I never want to do this again, but I've done CPR on people 3 times, not for practice.
Yeah.
A 9-year-old once. Okay, a 9-year-old once. This is reckless. Somebody dies because of this crap, okay? This is reckless. I mean,
I was going to say, here's what you do. You either stomp on their chest, and if that doesn't work, you pull out your firearm and go, boom, because they're dead. They're dead. You are effectively killing them.
I know. I mean, it's incredible. And so we have the medical community who now sees
this is insane.
That this is not the big thing that they thought that it was going to be. Obviously, there are people who will, be more vulnerable to it, like any disease, like any virus. But this is not the big event that they thought that it was going to be. And still, we have the medical community who are telling people, "Don't. Oh my gosh, the risk is too great. Don't." Make sure not to put your face near them if you're trying to save their life and breathe life into them. How can anyone have any faith in the medical community?
Just hold the pillow right over their face and stomp on their chest. That's what you
really do. You know, I saw really quickly. I saw a lady who was at a hospital waiting for her father. A man was in a wheelchair, could not lift his legs, and he had asked for help when the nurse came to wheel him back. He had asked for help to put his legs in the wheelchair stirrups that he was in. And the nurse was not wearing gloves, and she said, "Oh, I'm not wearing gloves. I can't do that. I can't do that." And there was hand sanitizer right next to her. And it's like, how can any of us trust the medical community to actually help us?
It's a level of insanity that you can't measure. This kind of insane you can't measure, okay? Yeah. You know what, the people that wrote that, we say, okay, when you need CPR, can we do that to you?
Right.
Can we care about your mask? Can we pull your mask over your nose, sir?
Yeah. Just in case.
When you don't have
I don't want to catch the Rona.
Now they want you to kiss and make out and have intercourses with masks on, right? That's what they've been doing. So maybe they're on to something.
Oh, Chad. All right, back in a minute.
Turned over to a debased mind. Given over.
All right, before we go, don't forget, if you have not yet subscribed to The Chad Prather Show, you need to, what are you waiting for? Go do that. I mean, I know you want to see his cute little face with the cowboy hat on and when you're watching on BlazeTV, but you should also go and subscribe on wherever you get your audio podcasts as well.
I sure agree with you.
Do you? I thought that you might rate and review it as well. And don't forget to check out the Jaco Booyens Show as well. You've got it, on Instagram?
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and then I think we're going to relaunch the podcast.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm going to relaunch the podcast, but thank you.
Yes, yeah. It's all
to do good work.
All good stuff going on. And I mean, what's a good, self-promotion every once in a while? Don't forget to subscribe to The News and Why It Matters, wherever you get your audio podcasts. We've been loving the new reviews that you guys have been sending in. We have some producers that are going through them, and they're going to pick some of them that are their personal favorites, and we'll read them on air. So don't forget to go in and subscribe to it rate it. We are very much like Chad Prather show. We only accept the 5-star reviews.
That's it. That's all you take.
It just kicks it back if you try anything else. So you probably shouldn't try anything else, just the 5 stars. Yep. Go ahead and leave a review, and they'll be picking some of the reviews to read on air. So we will look forward to reading those. By the way, we don't do it just for so that we can flatter ourselves. It actually helps other people see the podcast so that they can listen to it as well. You don't want them to miss out on this. All right, thanks for being here, guys.
I subscribe to both of y'all.